Thank you to those who have joined us, and also to those who are listening later. We hope that you get a lot of good information out of this presentation about prior learning assessment. Our contact information is at the end, so once you've had a chance to listen, if you would like to have a copy of the presentation today, just go ahead and send me an email, and I'd be happy to send that out to you. I want to give a special thank you to Sharon Cohick from Liberty University. She's the PLA coordinator there, and I'm really pleased that she's agreed to present with me today. So thank you, Sharon, for being here and being available. And you all will get an opportunity to hear from Sharon after I complete my slides, and she's going to talk to you more about how Liberty utilizes PLA. So to get started, I thought I would just give you a little bit of background on our company in case you're unfamiliar with our organization. We actually have two companies under one umbrella here. Nocti is our non-for-profit side of the house that works with secondary and post-secondary career and technical education centers and two-year technical colleges. And Nocti provides end-of-program credentials for any and all career and technical fields. So anything that a student might go to a career tech center for, cosmetology, diesel engine repair, medical assisting, welding, Nocti provides an end-of-program credential for all of those technical skill areas. They also work with several national certifying bodies for certification as well, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of those organizations in a bit. Nocti also provides teacher testing in several technical skill areas for states to certify teachers to teach in a secondary career and technical education center. And that's actually how our organization was started in 1966, was a grant from the Department of Education when they wanted individuals who wanted to teach in career and technical education centers from industry. The Department of Education wanted them to have an assessment to prove that they had enough content knowledge to be able to teach students. So that's actually how our company got started, and all along the way we've worked with business and industry, and we do much more student testing now probably than we do teacher testing. Nocti Business Solutions is our for-profit side of the house, and we work with business and industry to help them assess individuals as a pre-hiring tool to ensure that they're getting the right candidates in the right jobs. The assessments can also be used for promotion or for training with their incumbent workforce. We have 3 batteries of standardized assessments that can be utilized by business and industry for these particular areas. And we also customize assessments for business and industry that have specific technical skill areas that cannot be measured by one of our standard off-the-shelf assessments. So we go into business and industry and do a lot of customization. Nocti works with a lot of organizations as their assessment partner, many private sector businesses, as well as certification partners. So I've just thrown up a few logos here just to give you kind of an idea of some of the industries that we work in. What's most important about all of the industries that we work with is that Nocti and NBS have one common item bank. So all of the items that we develop for industry, by industry, go into our item bank and can also be used to develop and revise our prior learning assessments. So what this really means is that industry input is always reflected in our PLA assessments, and I think that's really important, especially now with the skills gap that we are experiencing in this country, that people who are getting degrees are really getting that industry background of what they need to get to be able to be successful in the workforce. NBS also works with a lot of national certification organizations to develop assessments for their national certifications. Some of these that you see on the screen are crossover that work with both Nocti on the student testing side and Nocti Business Solutions on the business and industry side. All of these organizations also provide training to individuals. We are their assessment partner, so their training typically runs through a different organization, or they supply their own training, but we supply all of their testing. We work with their subject matter experts to develop the assessments, and we help the organizations to keep these assessments maintained. And for most of them, we also do yearly psychometric reports for them. So that's kind of the first step in how they keep their assessments maintained, is that we run psychometric reports for them, excuse me, so that they can make decisions on what needs to be done with their assessments. As we all know, there are many different ways to get an education, and there are lots of opportunities for students to enter college from high school with college credit. There are CLEP tests, AP tests, and most schools offer some sort of dual enrollment with a local community college or university. And we feel, as an organization, that it's equally as important for students who are graduating from a career and technical education center to get credit for their program if they choose to continue into higher education as well. Several years ago, Nocti, our student testing side of the house, began working with the National College Credit Recommendation Service, NCCRS, to have them review all of our technical skill assessments and assign college credit recommendations to each one of them. Shortly thereafter, we went to NCCRS, Nocti Business Solutions went to NCCRS and asked them why these same assessments couldn't be used for adults who are going back to school to get their degree, and they agreed with us. At that time, we began offering our technical skill assessments for prior learning assessment credit for non-traditional students who may have many years of work and life experience. So our assessments allow them to come into a degree program with some credit for their experience as well. So in addition to any CLEP or other types of credit that they could come in with, this really fills the gap in the technical skill assessment area so that they can get some credit for their work experience and their life experience. There's some really fantastic research out there. A lot of it's been done by CALE, which stands for the Council for Adult and Experiential Learning, about how PLA plays a role in degree completion. But as you can see on the bar graph that's on the screen, students entering higher education with PLA credits are much more likely to earn degrees than those who did not enter with PLA credits. So they're much more likely to complete that degree, which, as we all know, that's how a lot of higher education dollars are distributed, is based on your degree completion, not the number of students that you have entering or enrolling into your programs, but those who are completing. So this is a really important statistic for colleges and universities. In addition, students who enter higher education with PLA credits finish their degree much quicker than those who have no PLA credits when entering a degree program, and that just kind of goes without saying that they would be able to get their degrees quicker than those who have nothing when they come into a degree program. When we started this endeavor, we researched several organizations who do college credit recommendations, and we chose to work with NCCRS. And again, that stands for the National College Credit Recommendation Service, and they are out of Albany, New York. So you might ask, what is a credit recommendation? And this is the definition that NCCRS uses. It is a credit equivalency assigned to structured, formal, college-level work that takes place outside of the traditional classroom with a focus on outcomes. NCCRS uses qualified evaluators to determine not only if the assessment should be recommended for college credit, but also how many credits, and as determined by a combination of required hours, academic rigor, comparability to existing college programs, and a strong correlation between learning objectives and outcomes. So NCCRS has quite a rigorous process that they utilize. They use college professors that go through all of the standards and the entire assessment to make sure that they feel comfortable based on this entire philosophy of how many credits an assessment should be assigned or recommended for college credit. NCCRS is an objective third party that approves the academic rigor and relevance. They also have relationships with 1,500 colleges and universities across the country that have agreed to potentially accept the college credit. Our mutual goal, ours and NCCRS's, is to increase access to college credit in the technical skill areas. All of the recommendations are posted on the NCCRS website as well as the NBS website. So there's lots of different ways for individuals to determine how many credits they can get and what is offered to them, both on our website as well as the NCCRS website. So how does this work for testing candidates? We have this entire process listed out on our website, but I'll just give you a quick overview. What's most important to us in the beginning when we start talking to anybody who is interested in taking a PLA assessment is we want to make sure that this individual has talked to not only their academic advisor, but also their registrar about receiving the credit prior to signing up to take the assessment. So it's really important to us that they have done their due diligence with their academic advisor and their registrar to make sure that their college is going to accept the credit. That's the most important thing. Even if a university or a college is on the NCCRS list, the student still needs to ensure that their registrar will accept and transcript the credit. It's always up to the college or university if they feel the assessment is a good replacement for the course, and they also can determine how many credits they feel the assessment is worth. Even if NCCRS has recommended the assessment for 3 credit hours, the college can determine they will only give 2 credits for it, or they may determine that it's worth 4 or 5 credits. So this is where it's really important that that student talk to everyone that they need to make sure that they are going to get the credit. The last thing that we want is for a student to order a test and take a test, and then their school says that they won't give them the credit for it. So it's always up to the college or university how many credits they will give for any of our PLA assessments, and if they will accept the credit at all. Also, a university or a college does not have to be on the NCCRS list to accept the credit. So a college or university can accept the recommendations from NCCRS without having any affiliation with them. So it still is up to a student to take the assessment blueprint to their academic advisor, to give them to ask them if they think that there is an equivalency there. And if there is, that college or university certainly can give them the credit for taking that assessment. They do not have to be in affiliation with NCCRS. So once the student has done all of their due diligence, we have a registration system on our website. The individual can choose a testing center in their area to be proctored, or if they're an online student, they live in a rural area, they don't necessarily have a brick and mortar testing center that they can go to. They can also choose to utilize a virtual proctoring system. They do have to have a webcam in order to choose this option. MBS has an agreement with ProctorU for these individuals, so we take care of the ProctorU registration for them. We get them all set up, and they're on their way taking the assessment. Once the registration process is completed, the individual takes the assessment, and if they receive a 70% or higher, they will receive a report with their credit recommendation. We then send the official score report wherever the student needs us to send it to get the credit added to their transcript. Typically, we send the score report directly to the registrar. So that's our usual process. If a student is attending an institution that is unable to transcript the credit for them, we can help them get it transcripted, but typically the registrar transcripts the credit for them once they receive the score report from our office. Another thing I should add on this slide that doesn't have to do with the process for the student, but for the college or university. If a college or university wants to be put on our list to be an available option for a student to take the assessment, so to be a PLA testing site, we pay the college or university $60 to proctor students. The one requirement that we have for our PLA testing sites is that not only that they proctor the assessment, but that they allow students from other colleges or universities to be proctored. So if a student in their area is going through some sort of an online course and they have gotten the opportunity, they've been told that they can take one of our PLA assessments, but they want to take it at a brick and mortar testing center. If your college or university is the closest to them, we do want you to allow them to come in and take the test at your college or university. We will work with you on payment to get you paid for proctoring them. But we do pay $60 for testing centers to proctor individuals to take PLA assessments. If you're at a school that wants to accept PLA credit or wants to give PLA credit, and you don't want to get paid to proctor the students, we can pass that savings along to the students. So we do have We do have some agreements with some colleges where we only charge the student $90 to take the assessment, and then we don't pay the school to proctor it. All PLA assessments are $150 to the student, and we work directly with the student on payment. But then we either pay a proctoring site, or we pay pay ProctorU, or if you want to offer that service to your students, then we would just pass that savings along to the student. So that's just a little bit of information if you want to become a PLA testing site as well. I just threw in a screenshot here of our website just to give you a visual of what that looks like. We have all of the information on our website for students and for organizations that want to take a look to see if they would like to start accepting PLA credit. You can see that we have a whole list of PLA approved test titles. This is where they would choose an assessment center to go to. And then we also have a college credit recommendation flyer. So if you want to have some of those available to your students of what is offered, you can have those printed out as well. We have approximately 112 assessments that have been recommended for 1 to 5 college credits. We have an assessment in anything from cosmetology to automotive to culinary to advertising and design. So 112 assessments certainly covers a great number of areas that you could allow your students to get PLA credit. The entire list, again, is on our website. There is an assessment blueprint that defines all of the standards and competencies that are covered on each of the assessments. This gives the colleges and universities a good opportunity to do a crosswalk with the curriculum of any course to ensure that they feel comfortable awarding the PLA credit. So I would recommend to any student to take these blueprints to their academic advisor if they feel like they should be able to take an assessment that would cover one of the courses that are in their degree program. And I also would highly encourage colleges and universities to take a look at these blueprints to see if there are any options for you to allow your students to take these assessments. I put in a sample score report here just to give you an idea of what a sample score report looks like. We do provide a percentage correct for each of the standard areas as well as the overall percentage correct. So if you are looking for additional detail in the score report, there is a standard 70%. So if the student meets the 70% passing score, then they have passed the PLA assessment, and that's what they need to, that's the score that they need to get the college credit. So, but this does give you a little bit more detail if you want to know how the student did in different areas. So now I'd like to turn it over to Sharon, who again is the PLA coordinator for Liberty University, and she's going to talk a little bit about how Liberty utilizes the PLA for their students.
We started using Nocti Business Solutions after attending a CALE conference and finding out that NBS had joined with NCCRS and were offering the exams. What we do with Nocti Business Solution exams is we recommend them to our students who submit certificates or even transcripts of training that we might not have a comparable program for. Most of the popular ones that we end up sending MBS and exams information to are CNAs, dental assistants, medical assistants, cosmetology, and of course the list can go on and on. NBS has just given us one more PLA option to offer our seasoned learners who need elective credit in order to meet their graduation requirements. The other exam options we do offer are, of course, the CLEP, the DSST, and the institutional challenge exams. But we also have other options that we like to offer our students, such as certificates for professional training. We just recently added the National White Collar Crime Center and have an equivalency guide to be able to award both undergrad and graduate credit. with the professional training. It's the EMTs, pilot licenses, RN licenses. And then, of course, we have, to go along with NCCRS, we have the ACE, American Council on Education, and we have our portfolio options, where this is used more with some of our ministers, teachers, counselors that have licenses, and yet they need to be able to write about their experience and also validate it with documentation. But NBS allows our students with this option to be able to save time and money in order to complete their degree in less than 4 years. And I'll leave it to you, Anne.
Thank you, Sharon. I really appreciate you talking a little bit about how Liberty utilizes PLA assessment, and especially the Nocti Business Solutions PLA assessments. Again, we know that we are just one tool in the toolbox that you have to help your students get to their degrees quicker. But what we really feel like we bring to the table is the opportunity for them to get some credit for their life and work experience, and especially that work experience. You may have somebody who has been, a welder for many years, and they're going back to get their degree. So how about if we allow them to get a little bit of credit towards their degree in hopes that they will finish it quicker and finish it all together. So thank you all. I'm hopeful that a lot of people are able to access this and listen to it again and pass it along to individuals in their organizations that might be interested in accepting PLA credits for their students. Again, if you'd like a copy of the slides, please don't hesitate to send me a quick email. Thank you all again for joining us, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Anne.
Thanks, Sharon.